All right. Thank you so much, Shelby, for that report. And for more, we're going to bring in Director of Communications and Media for the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, Andrij Dobriansky. Andrij, great to be with you today. First, I want to start off with the upcoming meeting with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. What do you think we can expect?
I think we're going to hear from in a post-meeting press conference is probably what of those points that are remaining are still on the table. We know that President Putin had a speech last week where he said he is pressing ahead with the war. We just heard from Shelley about the attacks on Dnipro last week. There were 66 ballistic missiles fired on Ukraine, 1,400 drones, and over 1,000 glide bombs. This is not a partner for peace. This is somebody who is actively, like we heard about the deaths in Dnipro, actively targeting civilians, targeting children, while at the same time, you have a partner like Ukraine that is willing to travel to the United States for talks, willing to do whatever it takes to get Donald Trump both to Ukraine and both to help have Donald Trump help in the peace process. So while I don't believe that President Putin is ready to accede to anything, it would be beneficial if we heard from Moscow after this trip what they could get an agreement on, which could be just one or two of those points.
Yeah, and going back to the U.S. and Ukrainian delegations meeting in Florida yesterday for the high-stakes talks, Secretary of State Marco Rubio had a few words for the cameras afterwards. Take a listen.
Tremendous opportunity.
Do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes a war crime?
It seems to. If that is true, if what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious.
The goal is obviously not just the end of the war. Obviously, that's essential and fundamental. We want to see the end of the killing and the death and the suffering, and I'm sure the Ukrainian side, I know they do as well. They want peace, but it's also about securing an end to the war that leaves Ukraine sovereign and independent and with an opportunity at real prosperity.
Okay, so obviously that's the one we were talking about, not Senator Mark Kelly.
Yeah.
Your reaction?
Well, I think a lot of words that Marco Rubio put out were received very well around the world. One of the things is he made sure to mention that the end result here is a sovereign, independent Ukraine. Sovereignty, that means that a country gets to make its decisions going forward. Russia's plan at the beginning was to limit and have a veto power over Ukraine's decision. I think many of those points have been taken out of the proposed deal for Ukraine. Secondly, what Marco Rubio mentioned was the fact that we want to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And one of the big partners in that is not having the U.S. pick up the bill on that. The U.S. should be involved as the coordinator in Europe, as a supreme ally commander. But there's been a recent report that it would cost twice as much for Europe to build up its defenses against Russia if Russia were to occupy further territory than it would be for Europe to invest now to help stop Russia where they are now. So I think Europe is getting on board. We heard President Zelensky with President Macron in France today agreeing to the fact that President Macron said that you should be hearing more sanctions on Russia coming shortly, meaning they want to stop Russia where it is now. And that goes right in line with what President Trump said on the plane the other day. He wants to stop this where it is now. Draw it up where the front lines are right now. Don't get bogged into moving the front lines. And then we can get to a peace sooner rather than later.
All right, we're going to leave it right there, Andrij. Great to be with you. Thank you so much for coming on and for your insights. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.